Hey, welcome back to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. I'm your host, Coach Zach. I'm here with Coach Brandy, and today we are talking about leveraging AI for your nutrition and dieting. So we've got some cool hacks for you that we want to share. But before we get into today's topic, want to give a little highlight or shout out to a client of the week. And this week it's Miss Tracy Sanders, who is absolutely crushing it. She's new and has been with us, I believe, for 4 weeks. And I met with her this morning. We did an in-body scan. She's loving the workouts, losing body fat, she's just totally on track, gaining skeletal muscle mass. And she came in, and of course I was like, man, you're doing so good. Like you're losing body fat. Your body fat percentage is going down, your visceral fat's going down, your muscle mass is going up. Like everything looks so good. And she's like, how do we accelerate this? And I was like, all right, talk to Brandy, right?
Success breeds motivation.
That's what we want to see. So I love the momentum, right? And I think next step is you're crushing the workouts, kind of tweaking some nutritional things. It's like, let's really dial in the nutrition. That's where you come in, Brandy. And then bam, we're like off to the races. So Tracy, you're doing awesome, and keep up the great work. All right, Brandy.
Yes.
Is your mind blown?
It is. Yes. This chat GPT the young kids are talking about.
It's all the rage. It's all the rage these days. So a little backstory on this one. Tim, the owner of Legacy, he came in a couple weeks ago and he's like, Zach, I went to a restaurant and I just uploaded a photo of the menu to chat GPT. And I was like, hey, give me the options that have at least 40 grams of protein on here. And it just gives him 5 options, right? Looks at the menu, reads the menu, gives him 5 options. And then he was like, okay, he orders a meal, and then the meal comes and it's in front of him, and he takes a picture of it and uploads it to ChatGPT. And he's like, hey, do the macros of this meal match the menu? And then it gives him the exact macros of the meal that was actually given to him in comparison to what it pulled up on the menu, which is pretty amazing, right? So I was to the team, hey, let's do a podcast on using ChatGPT for nutritional hacks. Brandy, you hadn't used it before.
No.
And in research for this episode, you went and got it.
Yeah, I uploaded ChatGPT for the first time and tried it out, and it was really cool. Actually, the information that it fed me based on what I asked it.
Okay,
yeah.
So let's share some of those.
Okay, so the first thing, I wanted to test out Tim's idea.
Yeah.
So I just went to some random restaurant near my house and pulled up the menu online. Took a screenshot of the menu, uploaded the screenshot of the menu to ChatGPT, and asked it to provide me with the highest protein, lowest fat meal on the menu. And it did. It said, this is what you should order. Make these modifications to it when you order. And it
gave you modifications.
Yeah, it gave me modifications. Like it said, ask for sauce on the side. Change the base to a veggie base rather than the other base. And
fries.
Then, yeah. So that was pretty cool. And then it told me what the overall grams of protein that meal would provide me with.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're working with people all the time, and they eat out a lot. That's something that our clients do, right? We're in Scottsdale. There's a lot of great restaurants. People are eating out all the time. I can't imagine when you share this with them of, hey, before you go to a restaurant, run it through ChatGPT and have it help you pick out what you're going to be eating from,
right
off the menu
at
those restaurants.
I even took it as a step further. So we're going to be out of town for a few days. And so I asked ChatGPT, we're going to be in this city and town for 3 days. My total caloric goal is this per day. I want 40% protein, 30% carbs, 30% fat. Tell me what restaurants I should eat at where I can get this breakdown and in this calorie amount and what I should be eating in 3 meals a day. So then it gave me day 1, day 2, day 3. This is where you should go for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for each day. And this is what you should order on the menu to meet those goals.
It gave you recommendations
it gave
of
me restaurants and what I should order from the menu at those restaurants.
That's insane, right? Like, so for... You didn't have to do any research.
No.
Like you didn't have to look up different restaurants.
No.
You can just go to your husband and just be like, hey, we're going to eat at these places. And it's already like set. Right. And I don't know if you took it one step further, but you can put in like, hey, I need gluten-free options. Mm-hmm. Right. Or I'm vegan or vegetarian or whatever. Yeah. You can give it that and it'll filter all of those things for you.
Yes.
Right. And that's just so amazing and incredible that we can use the technology, right? I'm sure like I've had this happen when I was working with clients and doing nutrition coaching, and they would be like, hey, Zach, I'm traveling. Like, what do I eat?
Yes.
Right? Like, where do I go? What do I eat? And as a coach, I would have to be like, okay, let me go in. Maybe we shouldn't be telling this people this because we wouldn't even we'd just be like, hey, ChatGPT, like, right. Where do I go? But I would have to do the groundwork, right? Like I would have to research and be like, okay, here's where you're going. Here are a couple healthy options for you. Like make sure you make these changes or at least look at the menu and order, know what you're getting before you go or what have you. Now it's like, hey, I'm going to be in Durango for 3 days.
Right.
Where should I eat?
Right.
What should I get?
Right. Exactly. I could see it being used for like airports too. I know a lot of times people are spending time in the airports and they're looking for healthy options at the airport. So that would be another way to use the tool. If you're on the go and, you're trying to get from one place to the next, you could tell it, I'm between these two locations, where can I stop and get something that's quick and healthy and give it, whatever your guidelines are for what you're trying to achieve.
Amazing. And if even, not necessarily even eating out, right? I think that's a really probably popular use case that our listeners are now like, okay, what's this ChatGPT thing? If they aren't using it, but also just being at home, right? Being at home, and how often, if you're at home, are you like, I don't really know what to eat. I don't know what I feel like. You can just take what you have in your house, plug it into ChatGPT. Hey, like I've got this, and this. Like, give me some recipes.
Yeah, right? I think you could just take a picture of your refrigerator of like what's in your fridge or what's in your pantry. Yeah. And be like, put together a meal or,
something that takes 20 minutes to prep or cook or whatever. And boom, there you have it. Right. So, I know for me, I actually already started working on this because my wife, she always asks me like, what do you want this weekend for dinner? Right. And I'm like, oh, how about burgers, and she's like, no, we're having burgers on Monday or something like that. Right. And then I'll be like, okay, well, what if we make some chicken Caesar salads? No, I already have that planned for Wednesday. So I'm like, okay, I don't know why you're asking me. Right? So what I told her is like, hey, why don't we just why don't you just document what we eat for a month, every night for a month? And she was like, I'm not going to do that. So I was like, I just got ChatGPT and I'm like, okay, tonight it's Monday, right? First Monday of the month. Tonight we had like this chicken teriyaki casserole. Okay, boom. And then tonight we had chicken tacos. And then I just start putting in like all of the different things that we have, so that I'm not through doing this yet, but so that it'll create a menu for me. And now I can just be like, okay, here's our like monthly menu, because people think that they eat like so many different things.
Right.
We eat like the same 15 meals year round.
Yeah,
pretty
I
much.
think most people
unless you're like
tend
going
to-
out, right?
Right.
So
Cycle through the same like 3 to 5 things. Yeah.
yeah, same 3 to 5 things. But even if you're somebody that just, you eat like eggs every morning and you're just looking for a way to simply spice that up or create some variety, right? You can just ask ChatGPT and it's like, bam, you have 10 recipes now that are quick, easy, different variations, and you're good to go, essentially, right? So if you guys are not leveraging this and using this tool for all kinds of things beyond just like nutrition, then you definitely should be. Like,
Yeah,
get it
you're
on your
missing out.
Yeah,
It's
you're missing out.
I know. I've just been, messing around with it today, and I can see it as a very helpful tool. Even if you're just like planning out your week, like you said, you and your wife kind of plan out for the month.
Yeah.
But planning out your week, or if you have things left in the fridge in the pantry that you want to use before you go shopping, like asking it to give you meals with what you have available, it can be very helpful.
Shopping, like grocery list,
Yep.
right? You can say, okay, create a menu for me for the next week, and then it'll create the menu with the meals based off. You can do it based off of your macros, and then you can say, okay, provide me with a grocery list for these items so that I can cook them.
Right.
And it's done, right? You can go to the store and know exactly what to get. You can say for a family of 4, for myself, like whatever, and it's all there. It's all there for you, right? So it's pretty awesome. The thing that it won't do for you, which Brandy does, is provide accountability and,
Right.
and support.
Right.
So you're going to go to the restaurant and you don't have to answer to ChatGPT when you order something that you weren't supposed to order. You do have to answer to Brandy. So
It's not replacing, it's a tool, a helpful tool.
It's a great tool, and if you, my suggestion is if you're not using it or you haven't used it for this purpose, like start playing around with it, because it can also be very like addicting. Just the fact that it's like, wow, this is amazing what it can do, and you start to get intrigued and you start plugging ideas into it. And then it's just gonna help. It's just another reminder to eat healthy, to make smarter choices, to make some healthy lifestyle changes in how you approach nutrition, instead of hitting, this one stop on your way. Like you were saying, maybe you have to drive 0.3 miles to get to a healthier spot with something that you already know exactly what to get when you get there, right? So that's it, guys. Just wanted to make you aware of this cool hack and tool that you can use. Go play around with it. And as always, we'll be back next week with more great stuff. Thank you so much for listening to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. Do you have a question that you'd like for us to answer live on the podcast? If so, all you need to do is head over to the Apple Podcast app on your iPhone and do 3 simple things. First, leave us a rating and review telling me what you think of the podcast. In that review, ask anything you want related to health, fitness, or nutrition. And if you want a shout out, leave us your Instagram handle or name. That's all you have to do. Then listen to hear your questions answered live on the next Q&A episode.